That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Let's get to have to switch the window over now. To have to switch the window over now. That's not the right one. That's not the right one. Not the right one. Not the right one. There we go. There we go. One day I'll get this. So like I'm right on time. So like I'm right on time. All right. So you want to know what's happening? Let's see. So there is the Republicans are in trouble. I think big time. Over the weekend, Louisiana House District. Another plus Republican seat was taken by a Democrat.
Now to the special election in Iberville and Assumption Parish, where Democrat Chastity Martinez took on Republican Brad Daigle. The seat opened up after the governor appointed Chad Brown to serve as Commissioner of Alcohol and Tobacco Control. Martinez winning comfortably tonight, taking 62% of the vote. Martinez, an Iberville Parish Council member, ran on promises to shake up the scene in the rural district, saying that voters are frustrated with traditional politics.
A quick heads up for those of you who live in the town of Livingston.
It's a big deal. Like, they're winning in these plus 20 districts. What was it? It was in Louisiana House District 60. 2024 results. Yeah, so like Trump carried that by 13 points. So, and she won it by 37 points? No, 63 won by 13. So that's a 26-point shift in a deep red district.
Wow.
So this is now two. We had Texas. Was it 8? Yeah, there it is. The 18th congressional district. Nope, that is not the right one. District Senate District 9. That was a 26-point improvement.
Yep.
So
Wow.
these are special elections. So this is a general election, but on off years, like when presidents are normally in, they normally lose a ton of seats during the midterms. This just shows that they're losing even more seats by going into the midterms. And they're not going to be able to shake the Epstein shit. You know, they're not going to be able. They're not shaking the ICE issues that are coming around. You know, we're seeing Latinos shift back to the left because these people thought that it wasn't going to affect them.
Yeah.
And it ended up affecting them.
Heavily.
And as much as like Trump wants us to move off of Epstein, it's not. There was the new revelation today that the DOJ had a draft for Epstein's death the day before his actual death.
You're saying like they were timing his death.
Like they had it. They that it was drafted the day before he actually died. It was dated.
That's funny. I think I just asked somebody yesterday if they really thought Epstein had died.
I'm like, people are really careful to say like his death, you know, but man, it is it's just way too convenient. That that these people are saying that he died during this time and
Right. There's, I mean, I'm even hearing theories of people saying that they thought he was a spy.
that he's that he was Mossad.
Yeah.
That he's like, why would you say in like emails to other people that you are not Mossad?
That's so weird.
I'm trying to see if I can find that. Yeah, so there was an August 9th press release, right? Of that the death of him. He died on August 10th. Even if it was like they didn't find his body till 6 a.m. Eastern time. And then on top of that, they don't know where his noose is. The noose that killed him.
Really?
Yes.
Then how did they know it was a noose that killed him? Is it that they had it and then they lost it, or they just never had it?
They don't know where it is. They don't know where that noose is. And like, I looked this up, but I'm not going to show it on stream. That they have the pictures of Epstein's body after his death, and it does not look like someone that hung themselves. It looks like someone that was strangled to death.
So there is photos of his body?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, so he's definitely dead.
Yeah. Yes, Epstein's dead. I don't think that Epstein is around hanging out with Tupac and Epstein is dead. Epstein, I think, is definitely dead. But did Epstein kill himself? That's the question.
No. Why?
That
He probably would want to get it all out.
Well, that was the thing too. Like, so Epstein was talking to his lawyers about cooperating and making plans to for his defense. Somebody who's going to kill themselves is not like trying to figure out how to get out of jail. Isn't going to talk about of becoming a state witness to try to get out of to get out of jail. So yeah, do I think Epstein killed himself? Yes. Do I think? Is there a possibility in my mind that somebody killed him? Yeah, I actually think that there is.
I think that's very plausible too. I think that makes more sense. Did Ozzy leave?
No, I'm right here.
Okay.
I just don't know what I can add to the conversation.
Yeah, whatever you want to the conversation. Do you think he killed himself?
I think he was murdered.
And now people are like that figure that showed up during his or God, I can't spell today.
It's Monday.
It is Monday.
CBS News has uncovered new evidence that raises fresh questions about the death of notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. For years, federal authorities have insisted no one entered Epstein's jail cell the night he died in 2019. But surveillance video, now under new scrutiny, appears to show a figure in orange near his cell hours before he was found dead. Newly released Justice Department documents show the FBI initially considered the possibility that the figure could have been an inmate, not a corrections officer. Independent video analysts tell CBS News the movement matches someone wearing a prison uniform, not staff. Epstein's death was ruled a suicide, but these new findings are renewing questions about what happened inside that cell and what may have been missed. Wow. Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell pled the fifth in a virtual deposition this morning. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed Maxwell to testify about her and Epstein's crimes and their possible collaborators in an alleged sex trafficking ring. According to the committee chair, James Comer, she invoked her Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. Republicans and Democrats on the committee say by refusing to answer questions, Maxwell is holding back justice for the young women and girls that she and Epstein abused.
This obviously is very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed, as well as questions about potential co-conspirators.
The fact that this woman is continuing to invoke the Fifth Amendment tells us exactly what my colleagues have already stated. She is a monster. She does not care. She has no remorse.
Comer said the panel still has 5 more depositions scheduled as part of its probe, including former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and former President Bill Clinton.
And we turn now to the latest here in Washington, with the calls for transparency surrounding the Epstein files continuing to grow, both in the halls of Congress and by survivors, even after the Justice Department's release of millions of Epstein-related documents last month. It comes as lawmakers are getting their first opportunity today to review the unredacted versions of those files. Congressman Jamie Raskin, a top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, spoke to reporters this afternoon after getting his first look at those unredacted files.
There were to be no redactions in order to spare people embarrassment or political disgrace. We didn't want there to be a cover-up, and yet what I saw today was that there were lots of examples of people's names being redacted when they were not victims. And so we still haven't gotten from the DOJ their privilege log explaining why certain...
I'm getting a call from my doctor. 1 second.
I saw a whole bunch of them that seemed very suspicious and baffling to me.
Lawmakers today also expressing frustration with the lack of answers from Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, who invoked her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination today during a deposition before the House Oversight Committee and refused to answer their questions. A statement, Maxwell's lawyer saying, quote, "If this committee and the American people truly want to hear the unfiltered truth about what happened, there is a straightforward path. Ms. Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump." A lawyer going on to say that Maxwell could clear both President Trump and former President Clinton of wrongdoing. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle reacting.
As expected, Ghislaine Maxwell took the fifth and refused to answer any questions. This is obviously very disappointing. We had many questions.
They're usually like, I don't want Ghislaine Maxwell to get clemency.
No, she can run prison forever.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what is her...
What was that?
The fact that this woman is continuing to invoke the Fifth Amendment tells us exactly what my colleagues have already stated. She is a monster.
How long is she going to be in jail for? Oh, 20 years.
She is not seeking
Well, what was your sentence?
to bring about some kind of
20 years.
for these women.
And she's 64.
Meanwhile, Epstein's survivor is calling for even more transparency.
She only got 20 years?
Releasing this PSA on Super Bowl Sunday. Take a look.
After years of being kept apart, we're standing together. Standing together. Because this girl deserves the truth.
Because she deserves the truth. Because we all deserve the truth.
Joining me now to talk more about this, Democrat Congresswoman.
But why would we're? I mean, I don't see her.
Why would we're? I mean, I don't see her.
I see that there's a deal to be made. It's going to be her like, oh, Trump didn't do anything bad.
Trump didn't do anything bad.
But I want to clarify that the Epstein Files Transparency Act was very clear that the Department of Justice was to release all files except was able to redact files that either would reveal the identities of the survivors or include child pornography or acts of violence. And the Department of Justice is breaking the law right now. Not only have they not complied with the subpoena that we issued at the end of the summer, they've only released about half of the files that they have in their jurisdiction, and they have over-redacted files, including unmasking survivors, which the law told them not to do, and actually redacting files that implicate co-conspirators and potential perpetrators. So I have a list of files I'll be looking at. Department of Justice spent many years investigating these crimes. We know that there are at least a dozen potential co-conspirators who are named in various DOJ files and investigations. I'll be looking at specific emails where they redacted the names of individuals while discussing actual sex crimes with minors with Jeffrey Epstein. I'll be looking for the files that were completely blacked out, including the files in the Southern District of New York, as well as the memo that was internal work product of DOJ to understand why they didn't prosecute these crimes. So we have a lot of materials that we plan to go over tomorrow at DOJ.
And when you see this material, will you be able to come and tell the public what you found, or is there some prohibition about what the Department of Justice has hidden from the public?
My understanding is that they are not allowing members of Congress to bring recording devices in to view the computers, but we can take written notes, and I certainly plan to fully provide a full accounting of what I see in the files.
Okay, let's talk more about some of the things that you've talked about in terms of how other countries have responded and taken action against their leaders who were named in the
Ted Cruz was telling people to, like, we should move on.
Telling people to, like, we should move on.
Well, listen, 9 or 10 countries have now opened investigations or pushed their leaders to step down, not just because of criminal activity, but for mere association with Jeffrey Epstein because of the stain that it brings on the leadership of those countries. But let's be clear, there are literally over 1,000 potential victims of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, and we know that there are dozens of men who participated in crimes and sexual abuse of women and minors. And we know that Donald Trump was in fact investigated by Department of Justice. His name does appear in DOJ slides in the actual investigation of sex crimes. So to say that he is not implicated is not true. It is actually in the files, and DOJ was tracking this. So part of what we're after looking in the unredacted files is what have they not released? And I think it's important to understand that going back to the Epstein Files Transparency Act, they are still holding on to half of the materials that they have deemed too sensitive to even put out into the public domain. So there are a lot of unanswered questions. I think that there are a number of officials, including Donald Trump, Howard Lutnick, Elon Musk, and others who've been named in the files that need to answer for their association with Jeffrey Epstein, and certainly need to answer whether or not they were involved in potential crimes.
And if Democrats win back the majority, do you believe that that should lead to a subpoena of some of these cabinet officials or even President Trump to answer some of those questions that you have?
Well, it shouldn't have to wait until Democrats win back the majority.
One is some of the internet concern about some of the more sensational emails. And I do think it's important to recognize that some of the senders on that are women. And so some of the redactions may be appropriate, some may not be appropriate. We need to look at that. But just because there's an email out that out there doesn't mean that there's necessarily an improper redaction. The these 6 individuals. Also that the staff was very professional in allowing us to do the searches. Our bigger concern is that there's still a lot that's redacted. Even in what we're seeing redacted versions. I thought we were supposed to see the unredacted versions, and that's because the documents produced to justice from the FBI, from the grand jury, was redacted when they got it. So we kept doing the searches for the unredacted information, and it's the identical redactions that they have. Now, I don't think that's nefarious on the career attorneys that were reviewing it, but they obviously haven't gotten the production because our law says that the FBI and the original grand jury needs to be unredacted.
Right. The U.S. attorneys and the FBI are compelled, as well as the DOJ, and the DOJ was responsible for this document production, and they just produced documents that have been given to them from the FBI, the 302 forms, for instance, which need to be unredacted. There was one other thing that definitely needs to be addressed. Some of these files have been taken down. Like the DOJ produced them, and for some reason they took them down. Maybe they decided that victims' names were in there and that they needed further redactions. But those documents not only haven't been put back up on the site,
What? Could you say?
They were not available to us to search, as far as I can tell. We couldn't search the documents that had been taken off the internet.
Can you share with us the names of the 6 men that you identified?
I probably should do that from the floor or in a committee hearing.
And look, they should be releasing these documents. We have many avenues where we can compel that legally. Maybe they've done it out of oversight. I don't know. I don't believe that. But, they should be releasing those documents, and our hope is to get them to do that. And then in some of the redactions, they need to be very careful on whether that was a survivor or not. Just because, for example, someone is female doesn't necessarily mean they're survivors. And it seemed like they blanket redacted anyone who's a female, from my review.
Yeah, I would like to give the DOJ a chance to say they made a mistake and over-redacted and let them unredact those men's names. That would probably be the best way to do it.
So how much of the redactions said that the documents, some of what you saw in there had redactions? How much new information then did you see that was unredacted, or did it look pretty similar to what we've seen publicly?
I mean, what we're after is the men who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked women to. We want those names published. We're not out to embarrass people. And the problem is, we went in there hoping to see that in 302 forms. What we found out is those 302 forms were redacted before they got to the DOJ. But our legislation directs the FBI, which is the agency that produced those 302 forms, to also produce these documents. The Attorney General is ultimately responsible for that production, so that's why we're here at the DOJ to view these files. But there needs to be more information given in those 302s. So I was disappointed we didn't find that. But it's also clear, just sort of as a checking their homework, that they need to do a little more homework. There are 6 men. We went in there.
The problem is that they didn't meet their guidelines. That the law was put in place. That we are now 40 days past when they were supposed to have it done.
You need to do a little more work. And
A little more work.
We'll see her at
A little more work.
Judiciary Committee here in a couple of days.
At the very least, these 6 men, maybe she can make public. I mean, we're happy to provide the information to them, and they should do that. Look, there's some of the effort, because there were a lot of career attorneys on there. There's some redactions that were appropriate, some, to protect the survivors. And some of the most sensational things out on the internet, there may have been appropriate redaction. So, for Thomas and me, it's always been about the facts. And our biggest concern is what was redacted before it even came to the Justice Department. I mean, the reality is that the most important things, the 302 files and some of the information on the prosecution memos, it's unclear that those redactions
happened here. We saw a lot of files that already were redacted. And then, of course, they have been protecting some of these men. Maybe it was not intentionally, but the law is very clear. They need to comply with the law.
And finally, the documents that they put up and decided for one reason or another they had to take back down, I was hoping to see those here. They didn't appear to be in the database that we were able to search. Those ostensibly are wholly redacted files now. We know they exist. They published them for a brief period of time and pulled them back. They need to answer to us as to do they intend to redact those files and put them back up and put them in the database so that we can search them and see if it was appropriate to take them back down from the website.
Are these men U.S. citizens? What fields do they work in? Is it finance? Is it political?
At least one is a U.S. citizen, at least one is a foreigner, and the other 3 or 4 have names I'm not sure.
We'll talk about that in a second, Ali. We'll talk about that in a second, Ali.
Finance, banking, political.
One is pretty high up in the foreign government.
And some are, one of the others is a pretty prominent individual. But I think that the point is that these 6 are just what we found in 2 hours of a review of the files that aren't redacted. The broader issue is why so many of the files they're getting are redacted in the first place. And until that becomes unredacted, the main things that they're sending to the career attorneys to review, I don't think we're going to have full compliance with the law to get to the question that most Americans want to know. Who were the rich and powerful people who went to this island? Did they rape underage girls? Did they know that underage girls were being paraded around? And after seeing this, I don't blame the U.S. attorneys, the assistant U.S. attorneys reviewing it. If they're reviewing redacted material, what are they supposed to do? But they're getting, it seems like, material that's already been redacted.
Congressman Raskin also gave materials earlier. He said that he saw President Trump's name redacted. He saw Lee Wexner's name redacted. Did you see President Trump's name redacted, Lee Wexner's name redacted? Can you share anything about that?
I didn't put Donald Trump in the search engine, so I couldn't say.
Why not?
Did you hear that person there?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why didn't you put? Why not? Why didn't you put?
So it may be proper to redact it, and it may not be. I don't know. It seems like part of their algorithm for redaction was just to redact every woman in there, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we can't parse if the person who sent that was a victim or not.
Look, none of this is designed to be a witch hunt. Just because someone may be in the files doesn't mean that they're guilty. But there are very powerful people who raped these underage girls. It wasn't just Epstein and Maxwell, or showed up to the island, or showed up to the ranch, or showed up to the home knowing underage girls were being paraded around, and some of the sickening stuff in there about the violence. And what we want to do is have the investigation to get to those people, to answer those questions. Not to say that every internet rumor about some email is going to be true. And like I said, in some of the cases, the redactions may have been appropriate. But for Thomas and me, it's never been about getting Donald Trump or getting Bill Clinton or scoring political points or trying to destroy people's reputations. It's about actually getting justice for these survivors.
Do any of you plan to read the 6 names on the House floor?
I think we need to give the DOJ a chance to go back through and correct their mistakes.
How long is that? How long are you going to give them? How long is that? How long are you going to give them?
They're already breaking the law. Look, they're way past the deadline. And the reason they gave for taking so much time is so they wouldn't release victims' information. But in fact, they've released all kinds of victims' information. So the problem here is not the deadline. The problem is they need to go back. They need to themselves check their own homework or have somebody else check it. And as Rose said, they need to go to the U.S. attorneys and the FBI, who are compelled by the legislation directly to produce that material to them unredacted.
And I think, look, we could have brought contempt or impeachment weeks ago, but our interest is in actually getting the information out. And as a result of the strategy we've been pursuing, this is the largest release of the Epstein files in history. Now, it's not enough, but it has exposed people in the highest levels in technology, in finance, in real estate. It has exposed the establishment and monarchies in other countries. So our push is how do we expose this and have accountability, not how do we score political points or have retribution. He's on the committee.
We'll see Wednesday.
It seems that they were made by the FBI or they were made by attorneys in the grand jury, but the Justice Department, it seems, got some of these documents already redacted. Our law was very clear. Unless something was classified, it required it to be unredacted, and they have not complied with that law. And that law needs to be complied with because that's where a lot of the information is, especially about the powerful people in this country and what their involvement was. And, you know, their involvement could have been that they were showing up at this island knowing that there was pedophilia taking place. Their involvement could have been that they were actually engaged in raping underage girls or knowing that underage girls were being raped. We won't know until we see those files.
Was named Maxwell and her lawyers statement today?
It's a list of 20. You can actually, I'll direct you to the unredacted, or the redacted file. It's a list of 20 individuals. 3 or 4, Maxwell and Epstein are on the list, and maybe 1 or 2 other people. And everybody else is redacted. And their names are redacted, but it also includes 20 pictures, 20 photographs. And they're sort of mug shots. They're not the best pictures. I'm not sure if they were mug shots or not. But there are at least 3 or 4 males in the photographs. I couldn't verify by looking at their names because they have foreign names. I couldn't verify by looking at their names that they were male until I went and looked at the photographs. By the way, in the document I'm directing you to, the photographs are redacted and their names are redacted. There is no reason in our legislation that allows them to redact the names of those men, as far as I can tell.
Unless there are any male survivors, which seems hard to believe given this issue. But and all the women that are redacted, it's unclear if they were just actual survivors, in which case they did the appropriate thing, or whether they just, as Thomas said, had an algorithm to take out any woman's name.
There's also hold on a second. There's also an FBI form that lists people who are conspirators, and one of those is a male. It's like on an FBI form, they've redacted his picture and his name on that form.
We're not doing anything about the conspirators.
Well, that's what they're talking about now. Like, why were the co-conspirators redacted also? The co-conspirators redacted also. Like, there was weird stuff too. Like, I know that they redacted like Dawn, the word Dawn, because I think they were trying to protect like Don Jr. But like there was a but like you can tell it was like a blanket redaction of anything with Don. So I don't know if they did like an AI assist on this, but like there was like this one email where it was this guy said like, you know, I'm done with this whatever, and he didn't put the E on the end and it redacted the Don for done. And so yeah. Here you go, Allie.
Gates was on NPR and asked the most uncomfortable question anyone could ever ask an ex-wife. She's asked about where in the files, this was an Epstein draft to himself, he mentioned Bill Gates, a Russian prostitute, and procuring for Bill Gates the type of medication he would need to slip into Melinda's diet some way or another to prevent her from getting an STD.
His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details. Sad. just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls?
They're up with the one you actually sent me. Apparently,
I didn't watch it. I just saw it and I was like, oh, that must be
Or business or, you know, it was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not.
This is in 2022.
That was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Mm-hmm. And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, you know, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful.
You felt that the moment you walked in. I didn't realize
awful.
That. Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how.
And they were for Bill to answer until it came out in the Epstein files. Like, I'm assuming there was like some sort of like NDA that she signed in her divorce papers.
Yeah.
That is like now null and void because of it has now come out regarding these files.
Because NDAs don't cover crimes, right?
So like she didn't.
I mean, depends.
Doing whatever satanic stuff.
Depends.
But being around him, she was like, he's a creep. You should not be around him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep being around him, like, this is not going to work. And it's indicative of your character as well. She was dead on. From other people who have met him, people have said the same thing, that, like, your creepdar, like, just went up immediately.
All right, so we'll segue into this now. You heard about the March for Billionaires.
Yeah. I kind of read that thing that I sent.
The joke took place as planned, but not without controversy and counter-protests. Today's March for Billionaires was in opposition to a proposed wealth tax, a one-time 5% data charge for California's wealthiest. That, in theory, would fill the gap where federal voting used to be. California is home to about 200 billionaires, with almost two-thirds of those living right here in the Bay Area. Opponents of the bill, like the protesters today, say this tax will spark a billionaire exodus and take jobs with them.
They aren't going anywhere.
California has more billionaires than any state in the union, and it is said to have the 5th largest economy in the entire world. Still, people are living on sidewalks and eating in soup kitchens. So it's probably not surprising that this place would become ground zero when it comes to class warfare.
Good, then get them out of there.
They're not going to go anywhere.
I know they're not.
And because like they'll still because they want to live in California.
Because California's nice. Yeah.
So I sort of guessed it would be provocative. I also think that if it were not called what it was, then it would not have gotten the attention that it did.
The gathering at a park in the Fillmore district only drew a handful of supporters who seemed sincere.
Oh shit! They got 20 people.
Wow. Which they believe will drive wealth and innovation out of the state.
You know, I know a lot of people disagree with the framing of this, but I do really believe that that most billionaires have had greatly positive influence on the economy.
A woman named Annie from Berkeley came up with the original idea.
I am a Christian. I swear on my God that I am being completely genuine here. We are being serious. We like billionaires. We want them to stay.
But the unusual notion of a march to support the wealthiest people in the world also drew a lot of media and some snarky opposition. People poured on the sarcasm as they discussed the plight of the downtrodden billionaires.
No, you don't know when you look at somebody what their story is, what their inner struggle is. So you can't tell if somebody's carrying the weight of billions of dollars.
I don't see a billionaire in sight.
Roselle Swimmer spent yesterday creating a giant puppet of a chef wielding a butcher knife with the slogan, "Eat the Rich."
I wanted to match their absurdity with my absurdity to point out just how ridiculous they look by having a 10-foot puppet to chase them around.
What a
With that,
legend.
the march began, heading for City Hall. Along the way, it drew plenty of stares and a bit of outrage from small business owners.
Yeah, I don't think it's any
Quillian,
billionaires
who
going to go
supports
marching
the
on
idea
that.
of a
I think it's all
5%
the people
tax
doing
on
it for them.
billionaires' wealth.
The fact that that is not acceptable to them makes me sick.
5%?
I mean, they could have paid 20 people to do this. You know what I mean?
20 people.
Yeah.
You
know what I mean?
I'm not doing amazingly, and I would still do it to help people. What's wrong with you that you won't?
But Michelle and Jesse Foster were mostly confused when the procession passed them on the street corner.
At first we were horrified, and then I'm not sure if they're joking. They have to be joking.
It's a joke for sure. So,
yeah.
You don't think this is real?
No.
It's an out-of-season April Fool's
Is
joke.
it kind of hard to tell, though?
A little. It's a little scary these days. You can't trust anything, right? So, anyway, I was on the phone with my daughter, and I'm like, I've got to hang up. I've got to go yell at these people.
What a
When a group
legend.
of supporters and detractors reached City Hall, they were still arguing. But it was still hard to know what to take seriously. That's the way politics is these days. So much of it seems like it can't possibly be real.
You can do a speech on it. Bernie Sanders did do a post. So let me applaud the billionaire class for organizing a March for Billionaires rally on Saturday. It's about time billionaires demonstrated to the world the kinds of pain and suffering they're facing. Ordinary people just don't get it. You probably think it's easy to own, say, 200 billion in wealth. Well, you're wrong. It's not easy. Let me give you just a few examples of the incredible problems facing multi-billionaires. Let's say you're Jeff Bezos, who owns at least a dozen mansions, ranches, and penthouse apartments around the world. Do you have any idea how hard it is, how difficult it is to find reliable help to staff those homes? You need house cleaners, chefs, gardeners, swimming pool maintenance, etc., etc. Just to name a few. Good help is not easy to find nowadays. Just ask Jeff. And then on top of all that, you have to find someone to run your newspapers, like the Washington Post, after you just laid off 30% of the staff. Come on, folks, let's have a little sympathy for Jeff. Tough times. What about Mark Zuckerberg? He owns a 387-foot super yacht that costs $300 million to build, and another $30 million per year to maintain. Now, how many people do you know who can steer a 387-foot boat out of a harbor or fly a helicopter on board? Not easy to find that kind of expertise. Further, have you ever considered the number of zoning lawyers Zuckerberg needed in order to purchase 11 homes in Palo Alto to create a family compound? That's crazy. Because you know how hard it is to get zoning laws for, like, in California to make, like, a compound? Come on, have you had to deal with a lawyer? Give Mark a break. Then you have Larry Ellison. Listen to this. Since the beginning of this year, he's lost some $49 billion of his net worth as Oracle stock slid 5%. $49 billion. Poor fellow. How would you like to lose $49 billion in 5 weeks? You have no idea what that feels like, especially since he is now worth less than $200 billion. How do you walk into a country club when you're worth less than $200 billion? And on top of that, he's got to figure out how to run his media empire with CBS, TikTok, Paramount, MTV, BET, CMT, Nickelodeon, Pluto TV, and more. Larry's juggling a lot. And as you know, Elon Musk just bought his own city in Texas, which was officially incorporated in May of 2025. Well, it's just one thing to own Tesla, SpaceX, X, and Boring company. It's something else to be worth $845 billion more than the bottom 53% of American households combined. But to own your very own city, wow, that's a tough job. Schools, police, fire department, garbage trucks, noise ordinance, sympathy for Elon. He's got his hands full. Further, do you have any idea how much effort's involved for the top 1% to avoid paying $163 billion a year in federal income taxes that they legally owe, or to make sure that billionaires pay a lower tax rate than the average truck driver, teacher, or nurse? You think they go to TurboTax for that? No. Think of all the accountants, lawyers, and lobbyists they must hire to rig the tax code, prevent the IRS from auditing them, stash hundreds of billions in offshore tax havens, and set up secret bank accounts in places like Switzerland. That's not easy. Show a little sympathy. So while the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 93%, let me thank the billionaires for organizing a march on Saturday. The world needs to understand how difficult life has become for a struggling billionaire class that has become $1.5 trillion richer since Trump was inaugurated. God damn, Bernie, that's a lot for me to read, man.
You did great.
What country is Diana Presley from?
Melinda Gates was on NPR and asked the...
We can talk about the halftime show. People are going crazy over that.
Oh yeah, did you see what who was it? I think Zach Bryan posted. He was against the additional halftime show. Oh, do you know during the halftime show that marriage was actually real?
Yeah, it was real. They invited him to his wedding, and he was like, "Hold my beer."
Yeah. So you know where they took their engagement photos? In Oregon.
Yeah, did they?
No. Yeah.
Did they? What did Zach Bryan say? Where is it? That's a fan account. Was it on Instagram?
Hold on. I don't know if I think it was on Insta, yeah.
Alright.
Oh, it was deleted. But here.
Dude, why was it deleted, man? Save the chest.
No, yeah. He said, I don't care what side you're on. A bunch of adults throwing temper tantrums and their own halftime show.
Oh, it's right here. It's right here.
It's
right here.
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Good for him.
The most cringe shit on the planet. Well, look at the bottom what that person said to him. Someone made a comment, like, inboxed him, trying to talk shit.
What the fuck happens to you, boy? You turned into a Hollywood sellout bitch quick. You were my favorite artist. Now you're nothing but a dumbass, out of touch elitist. Shit happens quick, homie.
Yeah.
Oh my god, look at this dumbass right here. CTE King. CTE King. Jakey Paul. So, purposely turning off the halftime show. Let's rally together and show big corporations they can't do just whatever they want without consequences, which equals viewership for them. You are the benefit. You are their benefit. You realize you have power. Turn off this halftime. A fake American citizen performing who publicly hates America. I can't support that. Yeah.
What the fuck?
So, you know, Bad Bunny is a U.S. citizen. is a U.S. citizen. I mean, it's already been litigated. People just need to know if you're born in Puerto Rico, you're a U.S. citizen. So he then has to clarify. The problem with my tweet is the word fake being misinterpreted. He's not a fake citizen, obviously, because he's Puerto Rican, and I love Puerto Rico and all Americans who support the country. Whatever is fake because of his values and criticism of our great country. You know why he has to say that? Because the motherfucker lives in Puerto Rico. And you know why? Like, say, so Bad Bunny.
Oh, Jake Paul is. Doesn't he have
Him and Logan Paul both live in Puerto Rico to avoid paying taxes in the U.S.
That's
in the mainland U.S. mainland U.S. So then, to clarify, I wasn't calling anyone a fake citizen because they're from Puerto Rico. I live in Puerto Rico, and I love Puerto Rico. I have used my platform to support Puerto Rico time and time again, and will always do so. But if you're publicly criticizing ICE, who are doing their job and openly hating on America, I'm going to speak on it, period. That's the same reason why I called out Hunter Hess. I don't know that drama. If you benefit from a country and platform it gives you, but publicly disrespect it at the same time, that means you're being a fake citizen. And I agree to love. I agree, love is more powerful than hate. Love America. Love America.
What the heck? That is crazy.
Guy's an idiot.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, is he the one that does boxing?
Yeah, CTE.
Got a little
brain damage
happening there.
So, Logan Paul, his brother had to jump on last night and say, I love my brother, but I don't agree with this. Puerto Ricans are true Americans, and I'm happy they were given the opportunity to showcase the talent that comes from the island.
I mean, because it was stupid for him to say that. Imagine being that dumb. Imagine living there. I mean, just... That's crazy.
Yeah, so Logan Paul has a $32.5 million mansion in Puerto Rico.
Is that U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, Puerto Rico is the U.S. But there's like special tax codes that people have.
Stop it.
There's Logan Paul owns a $20 million mansion in Puerto Rico.
So
I love when you sleep on me. I like to wake them up. We gon' see.
So we are in Dorado, Puerto Rico, and I bought
it's a beautiful house.
$16 million house.
And this house has some incredible features. It has a whole baseball batting cage, man cave room, a music studio, a giant movie theater, master bedrooms, outdoor showers, 8 bedrooms, 6-car garage. The list goes on and on and on. But I'm gonna take you guys along with me. And
I'm not going to get into that because, I'm sure you'll come after people for talking to him about him. Which one is his house?
The one with the pool on the side, that big one.
This one?
Or that big one?
No, it's this. It's this one right here. Yeah. No, it's this one right here. Yeah.
Because he didn't have a basketball court, did he?
I don't know. He could have.
I don't remember.
He could have.
Either way, it's a massive fucking house.
I thought there was a video that shows like why they're getting.
I actually wrote an article on Medium the other day, and it talked about Jake Paul. Everybody knows who Jake Paul and Logan Paul is, and they live down in Puerto Rico. Does anyone know why they live in Puerto Rico? Do you know why they live in Puerto Rico?
Because they don't pay taxes.
Because they don't pay very much in taxes, right? That's correct. So they have to live down, for Puerto Rico purposes, you have to live down there more than 6 months, right? So it's 183 days,
correct?
Okay, or an average of 183 days over a 3-year period,
Yeah.
okay? And then all your sources of income in that area while you're under Puerto Rican taxes, and a lot of it, their business is taxed at like 4%. Interest, dividends, cap gains is 0. It's a tax haven. But it's very, very important, right, that you follow those rules to a T,
Yeah.
right? Look, the IRS understands what you're doing, right? You're not pulling one over on them, but you want to make sure you're doing things the right way.
So they're like Bitcoin and their cryptocurrency shit. They don't have to pay $0 on their gains for that shit.
That's crazy.
Nope. No, this is crazy. But I just pulled this up.
$38 trillion is serious. And interest rates, to a degree, are a reflection of the 10-year bond. And the 10-year bond rate looks at how much we're spending, what the debt, the ratios are. Now, is it fixable? Everything's fixable, but we got to pay attention to the budget, and we got to focus on reforming healthcare, reforming Social Security. Look, $38 trillion is serious. And interest rates, to a degree, are a reflection of the 10-year bond. And the 10-year bond rate looks at how much we're spending, what the debt, the ratios are. Now, is it fixable? Everything's fixable, but we got to pay attention to the budget, and we got to focus on reforming healthcare, reforming Social Security. Look, $38 trillion is serious. And interest rates.
All right, back to the halftime show. So you see the clip with XQC?
XQC?
Is chat frozen? I don't get it.
Yep.
Live chat. It's not loading.
I just wanna kiss my friend, drive my truck, drink my beer.
Guys.
Not wake up to all this
Hello?
stuff I don't wanna do.
Hello?
Same kind of gun I hunt with, just kill me.
So the botting allegations have started on the DBUSA. 6 million people in live chat, and not one person is saying anything. Yep. And when he is chat frozen, he just typed in and it came up. It came up just fine. I'm never gonna get verified, okay? I'm not gonna give you money, Elon. So, like the owner of Binance, right? Who got a pardon from Trump, now holds 87% of Trump's stablecoin.
Weird.
That's crazy. I think it's like worth how much? like $800 billion. $800 billion. Whatever. I'm not gonna do that. So. Man, I saw this thing about Trump shitting himself. And the I can't verify if it's true or not. Let's see if I can find it. The 10-sting helicopter to the hospital refers to an unverified allegation and a viral audio attributed to Sasha Riley, an alleged Epstein survivor. He claims during an abuse incident at a secret location, the farm, he injured Trump by kicking a tent stake into his rectum and causing severe damage requiring emergency airlift. No official records. Like I say, I can't verify this. But like people were saying, like this is like him shitting himself has been years.
What the heck?
I did hear about that too. One of its assistants came out or something.
Like during The Apprentice, I think. I just want the clip. I don't want the whole thing.
You mentioned the girdle and you mentioned the lifts. However, one of the things that I mean, I just love it.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, so he shits his pants, right?
All the time. The nickname for The Apprentice, if you're a boom operator on that show, is the shit show. Because he shit himself publicly. Remember how I told you about the words like arbitrage?
Yeah.
So if he saw a word he didn't like and he couldn't pronounce, which is basically any 3-syllable word, he would freak out. And he'd fly into a rage and then it would let loose. He doesn't, and you would hear it. He's profoundly incontinent, bro. I'm talking like a minute-long evacuation of his bowels.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, in full audio. Like, you know, imagine the guy's got a lavalier. There's some dude like this being like, I just heard that guy shit himself in 5 minutes.
So
when was this?
And the reason for that is I used to do a lot of cocaine. Cocaine has laxative.
5 years ago.
Stimulants have laxative, you know? So it's a combination of like 30 years of stimulant abuse and eating nothing but McDonald's. Because all he eats is cheeseburgers and then meatloaf at night. So he's got 40 pounds of undigested meat in his colon, and he's basically feeding diuretics all day long. That's what stimulants are. They create water in your guts, you know, in your intestine.
Even a coffee, you need to go to the bathroom.
Exactly. So imagine snorting your coffee and like 6 months worth of Big Macs down there, and then you fly into a rage. So you just lose control.
So the first time, like, he shits his... Laura, did you have a question?
Yeah, but let's finish up this shitting in his pants.
Okay.
Let me...
So I remember it like it was yesterday. You don't forget your first kiss and the first time you see Donald Trump shit his pants. And it was on the set of SNL. It was Studio 8H. That thing you watch every Saturday night. That's where the first fake boardroom was built. And they were doing a run through, and arbitrage was the word. And he pointed at the cue cards and said, "You guys are fucking setting me up." He curses like crazy.
Right.
And then, you know what I mean? Then the fucking sound. And you're like, that didn't just happen. And they're like, yup, it happened. And it's like, okay, stand down. And then Keith Schiller, who's his big bodyguard, come and gets him. And they change him out. In the host dressing room, they have to take him up these little stairs. So that's how you see him walking. I don't know if you know that set. But
it's right behind Chris, I think. Yeah. I think
Chris
has that as his background in the image, I think.
Right on. Oh, is that what you are? Oh, what is that?
I think it's one of. Is that one of the boards?
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the boardroom.
Right. Yeah.
So wait, so do you smell it? Does he just smell like?
Yeah, you smell it. Oh, he smells like shit all the time anyway, because he doesn't brush his teeth. Those are like dentures and shit. So, and he's too arrogant to like take care of himself. If you watch him as president giving speeches, you'll see him lined up with people like when he was doing the coronavirus stuff. And if you see him turn and talk to somebody, you'll see that person recoil just slightly. You know what I mean? You know when people have really bad breath and it like hits you in the face?
Yeah.
That his breath is bad, dude.
Wow.
Like a fishing boat in July.
Oh no.
Wait, is he tanning or is it self-tanner?
No, it's Bronx number 5 is the name of the company. It's Swiss something. It's like Swiss Arts. It's a Swiss company. They make it. And it's called Bronx Concealer number 5. And it's made by a Swiss company. And he puts it on himself.
Oh, so
and he does it. And he does his hair. Nobody does it for him.
Well, that's
Yeah, exactly. And it takes like an hour to do the hair. That's why he has executive time. He wakes up in the morning. He doesn't get to the Oval Office till noon. He wakes up, cuts some lines. He takes benzos to come down, Valium. That's why some days you see him, he can't pronounce shit and he's got mush mouth.
Right.
That's from the benzos. He's cutting the tweaking with benzos. So if he travels, benzos are Valium, Xanax, that family, benzodiazepine. So he's cutting the stimulants with benzos, so like I used to work with Crosby, Stills and Nash, I've woken up dudes that like spent up all night doing coke and then they took a bunch of benzos at 4 a.m. and you're trying to wake them up to go somewhere at noon. It's a long process. So that's what I tell people, like Trump's executive time, he doesn't make it till the Oval Office till noon on a good day. Most days he doesn't even go down there. A normal president would be down there at 7 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
he's recovering.
That's the dysfunction. Right. He's waking up slowly. He's tweeting. He's watching Fox News. And then he's putting on the stuff. He's doing the hair. It takes an hour. And then they strap him into the girdle. He can't do the girdle himself.
So wait, they help him into it?
Yeah, and that's how I saw it because I walked by a room and they were lacing up the back. And it's hard. It's a hard plastic thing. It's like Frankenstein. If you saw that guy without his hair, if the world saw him, he wouldn't be president tomorrow. Even his staunchest supporters would be like, no, fuck that. Get that guy out of here now, I'll tell you what it looks like. Do you remember the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah.
There was that character in or something?
The blonde.
Yeah. The guy with like the gray hair on the sides and stuff.
That's what it looks like.
Yes, because it's all one long-ass piece of hair. He hasn't cut in like 20 years.
You talking about Riff Raff?
Riff Raff, that's that.
Yeah.
It looks like Riff Raff because it's one long fucking shank of hair that he brings up, and he's a master of it. He's an artist, and he swirls it and does the can of hairspray and all this stuff and gets it in shape. But if you saw it without that, it would horrify you. And he also had a scalp reduction, and that's famously documented. That's why he attacked his first wife.
Ivana wrote about that in her book.
Exactly. He said he ruined her life, but he lifted his scalp up to make it seem less bald. And it left a scar, and he accused of ruining his life.
Because she picked the surgeon.
It was her surgeon, and so he ripped out a chunk of her hair and did something else really bad to her.
How often would you say he shit his pants? Was it monthly?
Well, I would only see him on the on the finals, right? So I saw him at least 3 times. But he wears the Depends all the time. You can see him as president. He was in the Oval Office with Erdogan, the Turkish prime minister, and you audibly hear him doing what I described to you. And you can look this up on YouTube or whatever, and you see Erdogan's face. And Erdogan's face is basically like, that motherfucker did not just do that. You know, you literally can see it, you can see him smell it, and you can be like, this motherfucker. You know? And here's what happens, because when he gets pissed, and you see when he does these pressers, it's called closed press. It's when they bring the press into the briefing room or the Oval Office and they all get to yell questions. You'll see when he gets pissed off, his aides, which is Stephen Miller's wife actually, will come in and you're like, everybody out now, get out, get out. Like they freak out and kick you out right away. I think he made a number 2 at that point. And it's like, get in there, get him out, because somebody's going to get it on film, you know?
President made a number 2.
I think I found it, hold on.
Rigged election, you know, he knows about rigged election. Rigged election, you know, he knows about rigged elections better than anybody. It's a pleasure to be with President Erdogan of Turkey, and we've been friends for a long time.
Oh, that's not the one. That's not the one. Here's one.
Lists. However, one of the things that
Ah!
You like to say something?
Thank you. Sayın Başkan zaten.
I mean, the last one was what really mattered though. The last time he shit himself.
I mean, that video was from like five years ago.
2000, I think. No, 2020. Sorry.
So yeah, they've been saying this before this most recent video.
Oh yeah, like this is not new.
That's crazy. Someone has that much audacity and they shit themselves constantly.
It's going to be a thing of the past, and I'm so proud of you. And fellas, some great things happening. Right? Yeah. Money is great, really great things happening, I hear. And some pretty big announcements over a short period of time, right?
Yep. Moving drugs over the counter so you don't need a prescription.
You're right.
Naloxone, which treats opioid, is one of those drugs. And we're being proactive with synthetic 7-OH, a new opioid that's showing up, and we're working with the DOJ on addressing that because chemists are coming up with new opioids faster than the government has been able to keep up. We're going proactive on these new chemicals.
That's good. No, I hear fantastic things. Thank you all very much. We really appreciate it a lot. Thank you, Oz. It's doing a fantastic job. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, please. Thank you.
Mr. President, can you respond to the new Fox poll that says people think ISIS's tactics are too aggressive?
He's a pooper.
Dude, can you just imagine standing behind someone and they just fucking shit themselves? And then you just have to like play it off like everything's okay.
I mean, I guess if they have incontinence, they have incontinence. You know, what are you gonna do?
I mean, that's fine, but like you shouldn't be like holding the top office of the world. Oh my God.
However, when President Trump speaks for the American people more generally, and he says, guys, don't we have better things to do? You can understand his irritation. The man is trying to negotiate an end to a war in the Gaza Strip. He's trying to negotiate an end to a war in Ukraine. He's attempting to revivify the American economy. He's attempting to crack down on illegal immigration. On a list of American priorities by the polls, the Epstein-Maxwell case comes in pretty close to zero, just on a list of priorities. However, when President Trump speaks for the American people more generally, and he says, guys, don't we have better things to do? You can understand his irritation. The man is trying to...
He's irritated because he's in the files, so... Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, Andrew Tate said the victims were lying whores. Oh, I'm on Epstein. I was like, why is everything Epstein? No, it's because that's where I was at. Like this right here just shows you that, you know, a stroke can make you turn Republican. Not a single white person in sight. That's crazy. Could it be because that was they were talking about Puerto Rico? I swear, where were all these people when it was only white people in TV shows? Only white people that were like, if there was a only white people scene, were they outraged? Like, oh, you know what? There's not enough Mexicans in that scene. I don't know. There's not enough black people in that scene. But you have something when, you know, it's people of color, and all of a sudden it's, where's all the white people at? Bitch, you had a lot of shit with you in it. Okay? Dude, this was embarrassing for this girl right here. But, you know, this is just clout chasing. Did TMZ actually do that? Or was that just a fake thing somebody did?
Not sure.
I mean, I could see it on Twitter. Because Twitter is so right-coded. I'm sorry. X is so right-coded. Hey, there was a white person on that stage. Remember?
Who?
Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah, Lady Gaga.
Because she's Italian. Does that count?
Yeah. We'd have to ask our friend that. I don't think we are equipped
qualified
to make that judgment call. Yeah, that was fake. There's no. My God. They are, dude, right coded just means that you're anti-gay, you're anti-trans, you just can't handle it when you see a gay man on a screen. Like, I don't even know if I don't know Bad Bunny's sexual preference, but it doesn't matter. But either way, it doesn't matter.
He's straight, he's just an ally.
Yep. You know, like, he lip synced his entire thing. Whenever I lower my voice is so loud that you could just hear it. Whenever I lower my voice is so loud that you could just hear it. I need to get off this because this is just. Oh, you know I can do this. I need to get off this because this is just. Oh, you know I can do this. Well, that's the other one too. Like, the whole thing about this seizing the voter rolls in Georgia is a play so that the Republicans can take over the election in Georgia, in Fulton County. If you get rid of Fulton County, then Georgia goes Republican. Georgia goes red regardless. Georgia goes Republican. Ken Klippenstein just posted something. About how ICE agents are demoralized right now. When was this posted? Oh. Dude, that's crazy. Homeland Security is monitoring anti-ICE Reddit posts.
Weird.
Yeah. That's crazy. Homeland Security is monitoring anti-ICE Reddit posts. Yeah.
So what are they doing? Put people on lists or something?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they have like 4 databases that they're using. Oh yeah, I'm sure. This is why Schumer should be primary and removed. No, there should be no masks. Like, there should just be no masks. No, there should be no masks. He's such a feckless leader. He's such a feckless leader. Violent streams could exploit functionality of popular online gaming platforms. They are coming. Oh, look at Battle.net is on there. They are. That's crazy. Battle.net is on there.
Weird.
Fortnite, PSN, Roblox, and let's be fair, Roblox has got some problems. Twitch,
that one's bad.
Discord, look at all the text chat, voice chat, video chat, image sharing, friends list, discoverable communities. Discord, look at all the text chat, voice chat, video chat, image sharing, friends list. Some violent extreme U.S. teens probably play online games or use gaming affiliated networks and applications. The emphasis is some. Or use gaming affiliated some violent extremist U.S. teens probably eat chicken. Like some violent extremists. You know, like the correlation is not causation. But they're going to use that to justify spying on Discord servers. But they're going to use that to justify spying on Discord servers. Oh, I don't have anything on there. I wish I could do this. Oh, I don't have anything on there. I thought I read something today on DropSite. I wish I could do this. I thought I read something today on DropSite. Did you see that one lawyer from the DOJ basically telling a judge to hold her in contempt? Because she was because her job was like so hard. Because her job was like so hard.
Department attorney who told a we're just learning that the Justice Department attorney who told a judge that her job sucks. That's what she told the judge, that her job sucks. She is no longer representing the Justice Department in federal court. Attorney Julie Lee told a judge it was like pulling teeth, quoting here, to get the federal government to follow court orders in Minnesota, where the Trump administration, as we've talked about, is carrying out those immigration enforcement operations. Lee apparently told the judge, in her words, the system sucks, this job sucks. I wish you could hold me in contempt so that I could get 24 hours of sleep. An NBC News review of court records shows that she picked up 88 cases in less than a month. An official familiar with the matter tells NBC News Lee's details was now over because of the comments she made to the judge. We're going to keep you posted as that story develops.
This is the one I was talking about right here.
Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland on the majority. Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland on the Majority Report. It is a pleasure to welcome back to the program Ken Klippenstein, independent journalist covering security and U.S. politics at Clip News on Substack. And Ken, I feel like we've talked to you multiple times over the course of the past just like month or two because you keep breaking these stories. First off, apparently the feds have figured out who is Commander Zero of Antifa. Tell us, explain, please.
So I was given an intelligence report produced by the Department of Homeland Security that identified a 29-year-old young man with an apartment in Portland, Oregon, where he was allowing protesters to go and wash off if they'd been pepper sprayed, get some water, use the bathroom, that kind of thing. And in this intelligence report, they identified him in very solemn terms as the suspected leader of Antifa. We found him in Portland. And so, I see the guy's name and he just...
Okay, sorry. We've got to do that. We're obligated as a news organization to play that whenever we talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's important. It's funny because I always tell people, like, when I came into covering national security, I was expecting Jason Bourne, and it's like what you've gotten is more Reno 911. It's been and this is true of that in spades, because you look at that intelligence report, the picture of the guy, he looks like a composite of just like any random protester in Minneapolis, just like a guy, and no criminal record, no allegation of crime in the intelligence report, just the simple fact that he's opening his apartment up to protesters and to media after there was a news cycle, pushed by Fox and conservative influencers calling him this leader. He invited the press, local media, just, hey, poke around. Here's the apartment, my bookshelf. Here's my couch. Looks just like.
That's the leader of Antifa. Allie, do you know him? That's the leader of Antifa. You sure? Because he's rallying.
I have no idea who that is.
He's rallying people in Portland. Okay. You sure?
Was he paying them too?
He's rallying. Yeah, like he's recruiting people into Antifa.
Oh.
That's the leader. This 29-year-old in Oregon. Recruiting people into Antifa.
Wow.
In Portland.
And the guy to his credit, like he didn't hide anything. He was happy to talk to anyone. He talked to me, and he's just finds the whole thing funny and outrageous because he's just a guy.
But wait a second. Did he let any of the reporters who came in to see the bookshelf pull the book? Because he pulled the book, right? And the whole thing opens up. Isn't that the way that it works?
I don't know what level of operational security they're on. Presumably, it's pretty tight because we've got the entirety of the federal government after NSPM7 focused on these guys. One can only imagine that they're running a pretty tight ship, but I certainly didn't see anything like that.
Can you just explain, though, maybe just back up for a second about Antifa and the nature of, Antifa activities? Because it's not a centrally organized group, and yet this administration is insisting on...
It's not really a group.
It's not a group.
Insisting on trying to find some sort of figurehead to go after the anti-fascists, which, what does that mean?
It's not a group.
Right. So the administration, the White House, is convinced, and, over the course of my reporting, one of the most alarming things was realizing how much in private they reiterate this stuff and really believe it. It's not just rhetoric. A lot of those guys really think that there is, after 9/11, the baseball cards mapping out the leadership of Al-Qaeda infrastructure. They really believe that stuff. It's not just talk. It's not just Sebastian Gorka. It's not just the more flamboyant elements of the administration. By and large, I really buy this stuff. And so, from my conversations with some senior people in the Department of Homeland Security, they're stuck in a position where they have to then take that and translate it and implement it. What they see as directives from the, democratically elected president. They say, okay, well, I've got to find some way to do this legally. And they say that's a big challenge because it's not based in fact that there's some organized group. And so what they've done, as was
Antifa, short for anti-fascist, isn't an official organization. It's a loose network of activists who oppose fascism, racism, and far-right extremism. The movement's roots go back nearly a century to groups in Europe that stood up against leaders like Mussolini and Hitler. Those early anti-fascists used protests and organizing to push back against authoritarian governments. In the U.S. today, Antifa has appeared mostly at rallies or demonstrations where far-right groups are present. Some members focus on peaceful protests while others believe in direct action, something that's made the movement controversial. Supporters say they're defending democracy and standing up to hate. Critics argue that some tactics cross the line.
Oh my gosh, I love this music.
Antifa remains one of the most debated movements in modern politics.
Oh my gosh, I love this music.
Bro, the production on this shit is fucking nutty, by the way. Think about how much time and effort...
I know, sorry, I'm getting off topic there.
Described to me by people in Homeland Security is the best they can do is kind of find these guys that maybe interact with protesters and try to say, well, maybe he posted out support for anti-fascism at some point. I guess here's maybe something we can do that carries out the directive. But that's really what you're seeing, is they're mapping it out just like the U.S. government did Al-Qaeda after 9/11 and ISIS. It's exactly the same program, and the president has more or less said this directly. He's talked about the enemy within. His senior counterterrorism director, Sebastian Gorka, talks about finding these cells, the language of safe house. I mean, this is all national security speak that you would have heard reserved for these foreign terrorist organizations, these Islamist terrorist organizations in the Middle East, and now the war has come home.
Wait, there's a couple. I've got a lot of questions about this. So, and I get the idea that there are people like in the political leadership who genuinely believe this stuff.
I really don't care about the Antifa stuff.
That's why they're sharing it. I mean, it's ridiculous. And when you look at this and you hear the...
I really don't care about
pointing at this guy because there is so little there. Like, are we watching some type of undermining of this process by people internal in DHS by sort of pointing to like somebody who's clearly not associated?
Blind to, if it's an immigrant who doesn't look like them, or if it's somebody you can say, oh, that's not like us. Increasingly, people I talk to, they're like, you know, these guys are crazy communists, but they have the right to say whatever they want to say, and you know, they don't feel great about that they're having to enforce this against them. So I think that's a point worth mentioning.
So follow up though really quickly. Do you have a sense of how widespread the perhaps internal resistance, like to Sam's point earlier about like, are they offering up this guy because it's so flimsy? Do you have a sense of how widespread the scope is of perhaps like throwing what do you say, throwing in the gears of a bike or something like that? I'm mixing metaphors, but I mean, we're seeing it a little with the Epstein files. I think there's almost seemingly like internal obstacles that are being created, perhaps by people that are of conscience. To your point.
Yeah, well, they feel trapped. They describe me because it's like if they go rogue, then it's kind of like they become the deep state that Trump has been shrieking about for the last 8 years, and they feel like, you know, they might not agree with his policy, but he's the elected leader. At the same time, I don't see so much malicious compliance as trying to like come up with like the least insane way to implement something, and then also talking to someone like me about it. That's what the resistance tends to look like. It's definitely not partisan because basically all the guys in these, I have to laugh sometimes when people are like, oh, Ken's just talking to some left-wing guy. It's like, there are not really any left-wing people in the Department of Homeland Security. So it's not partisan in character, and it never will be. But what it is, you know, just, it's really sincere. They just feel bad, and they're going to try to disclose it to the extent that they can, because they're always, it's sort of touching on that either. They're like, hey, why doesn't Congress disclose some of this stuff? We briefed them on this a year ago. They should know about this. And I'm just like, buddy, like, it's not really what Congress does. So then they come to me, and yeah, transparency is what the resistance looks like, I think, is trying to disclose these things because they feel like it should be public in the first place.
I want to get back to Congress because, you know, the guys who are talking to you today may be hauled in front of Congress, you know, come to, you know, a year from today.
Yeah.
If the Democrats take control, as opposed to somebody who just don't know how long it'll take, and I have a sick daughter with no insurance. Where people are complaining about their ICE jobs.
Here we go. This is what I wanted to talk about.
Current deportation officers, prospective applicants, and retired deportation officers.
This is what I wanted
to have a platform for discussion. You know, who knows, I guess, there's a certain amount of OPSEC, I guess, but who knows if these are real, but I suspect they are.
Well, I can tell you if it rings true with what, because I talked to a lot of people, including some of the newly hired ones. So
yes. All right, so let us know. Health insurance. Been here for about 2 months, still waiting for my health insurance. Is anyone having that issue as well? I chose BC Blue Cross Blue Shield Basic. MSS told me they don't know how long it'll take, and I have a sick daughter with no insurance. I don't know what MSS is. But don't expect much. It's like $6,000. Okay, anybody get the bonus yet? And someone's like, don't expect much. It's like $6,000 after taxes, and they put it in a regular paycheck, so you end up paying about $4,000 to $5,000 in taxes in one check. And somebody else says didn't even get paid yet for the base check. What else we got? Man, Monday's 4 weeks since I started, and I haven't been paid yet. Anything else? Do we get any more of that, or that's it? Does that ring true? Like people are getting delayed. Here's another person. Currently in ICE ERO position, waiting for my background to clear. I haven't spoken to an investigator anymore since my interview for the SF-86. Came to find out my in-laws are illegal and they are awaiting work permits.
Oh my God.
This is an F-up situation because I cannot control, nor is my responsibility to look after other people in life or my decisions. But yeah, I know it F'd me up in my career because yes, I married my wife. She is a U.S. citizen and bond with the family, but back in 2017 when I met her, you don't ask, hey, do you have papers? Are your parents here legally? Some BS, man. Now I have the job I always wanted. I do what I always dreamed
Okay,
of, but there's
okay, hold on. So he's bitching about that he can't get the job in ICE that he's always wanted. With his, I'm assuming his wife of some sort of color, and her parents aren't legal. Like, this isn't the job for you.
Her parents aren't legal.
But I don't know. We've seen a bunch of self-deprecating,
This isn't the job for
you know, Latinos in ICE right now.
Ton of them.
You know.
In this afterlife, a man, which pisses me off. Anyone have a situation like that? That seems like a distinct relative to the sort of like administrative issues. But are there a lot of administrative issues that are going on in terms of onboarding these people and getting them paid, etc.?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a bureaucratic disaster how it's being run. Tom Homan just today had a press conference where he described how one of the changes they're going to make going forward, and the context of this all is like, hey, we're going to be more targeted, we're going to be more careful, we're not going to have, you know, all this craziness going on. He all but says that. One of the things he mentions is having a unified command, because there were multiple commands that these things were being run by. So when you look at someone like Bovino, it was never entirely clear if he was in charge or if Noem was in charge or if Tom Homan's role. Yeah, and I was talking to the guys who had internal access to like their org thing, and they themselves don't know who's in charge of what's going on. So it's a total like cluster, and it makes sense that would affect the pay as well. I've heard things like people getting somewhere the hotel wasn't paid for like they thought it was going to be. You know, I've talked to some of these new recruits. There's a whole spectrum. There are definitely the gung-ho types who respond to the memes being posted on Homeland Security and the extremely political language coming out of DHS Public Affairs. But there's also a lot of, frankly, really sad stories that reminds me more than anything of like interviewing people in an Amazon warehouse, like really sad stories of guys with like not very many options and having joined at a time that, I mean, like we swim in the world of politics, but not everyone does. And it might sound weird, but it's like there are people who join who are just kind of like, I guess I didn't really look into it very much.
Right. No, I mean,
yeah,
that doesn't shock me. I mean, if somebody's dangling that kind of money out there, and you got a kid who doesn't have.
I mean, I can see that. You know what I mean?
And this is where, you know, at a time we just had
where like somebody's desperate for money, and
I guess,
but you have like you have a kid. No, I get it, but
I mean, heck, that's what happens with the military consistently.
Exactly.
You know,
you have a kid. No, I get it.
Presumably, people have a better sense of that.
But the amateurness of it is just shocking in the sense of like, if you're going to pay people to be the modern Gestapo of the United States, perhaps you want to get your ducks in a row a little bit to make sure that
they're loyal.
Bonuses are actually coming through, and
they're never getting their bonuses.
Is there any report, Ken, of Homan delivering the bonuses in paper
and they're never getting their bonuses?
Maybe in like some type of fast food bag or something like that? Because my understanding is that is best practices for Tom Homan.
One of the interesting things about this is seeing ICE's law enforcement budget be tripled, and interviewing all these people and thinking, particularly the more senior ones, are going to be like, yeah, we really have some resources now. Hardly anyone I talked to seemed excited about it, and I asked why, and they were like, well, you have to structure it and create systems for it, and you can't just like make it rain and just like you'd have to create infrastructure to produce new agencies and things. They haven't done that. They're just chaotically like sending people out under basically the same system we had before. To give you just one example, ICE literally in its handbook has no policy at all. Zero mention of protesters, civil unrest, even rioters. So they're not trained or even have like a concept. They're supposed to be a deportation agency essentially. And so they've been put on this new mission, which places it basically at war with American protesters. But they haven't updated the institution at all to say, here's what you're allowed to do, here's what you're not allowed to do, here's what you should do, here's what we'd like you to do. Like, so they're just flying by the seat of their pants.
There's no guidance.
Yeah, that's how I would characterize basically everything I've seen. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's to go back to the theme before. It really is not some spy thriller movie. Like, it's just total chaos.
If people, look, we have 4 people in this office, and if tomorrow, Minneapolis is going from 80 ICE people on a normal, like a year ago, 80 people stationed there, to 3,000.
Right.
If we had 120 people show up in this office tomorrow for work, it would be total mayhem.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we wouldn't, there might be 1 or 2 people I could say, okay, do research on this, but the other 118 people would just be standing around, and now we gotta feed them, we gotta, you gotta take them to the commissary. I mean, it would be very complicated.
Exactly.
But is there, so you surged 3,000 ICE agents into Minneapolis. Do they have quotas? How do they even?
Yes. Yeah, they do. And that's another thing that I found agents resented. Lots of them. Because I'm not just talking to the ones who will talk to me who are critical. I also, I don't want to get into specifics, but I have access to things that their coworkers are saying, internally. And almost across the board, they resent, at least the kind of correspondence I've seen, they resent the quotas because they literally can't reach them. And so what they end up having to do is just whip up cases. I'll report this later, but they described writing narratives in arrest reports, which are not true, and just lying and saying that this guy admitted to this and knowing that it wasn't true. And saying what am I supposed to do, man? We got to meet all these quotas. I can't even get halfway there. So they regard it as, because the quotas are so high, and there's no attendant kind of here's how you can meet the quotas by doing X, Y, and Z. It's just go and do it. And there's no, again, if you had an influx of all these new guys, you'd have to create systems. They haven't created the systems to reach these quotas in a way that's actually following the rules.
So are these quotas for how many people you arrest or detain, as opposed to it's one thing.
Just arrest and detain, because the legal system.
So
they're just letting them
take them, and they're just going to shove them through the system, and they don't care what the disposition of those people ultimately are. They don't lose their quota numbers if it
doesn't go to if it doesn't survive court.
So they're just looking for basically it's almost like cold callers. Here's your 30 leads of the day. And if they don't close any of them, they don't care because they delivered their 30 leads.
That's why even the hardcore ones don't like it, because they're saying, in messages I've reviewed, they say, okay, well, we got all these guys, it's never going to stand up in court, and then they just go. So what was the point of any of this shit? And so, again, the opposition to it is not partisan in character. There are a lot of hardliners that are this is not an effective way to increase immigration enforcement.
I want to play this story about I guess an ICE lawyer. I want to get there in a second, but how frustrated are they? Where are we on this? If we are 10 months out, I'm speculating.
I was just looking up the ICE quotas for 2025. I was just looking up the ICE quotas for 2025.
What are they?
From 1,000, so in May they moved it from 1,000 per day to 3,000 per day. 1,000, so in May. But they're still only hitting, the highest they've ever got was 1,200 people per day. But so still only hitting, this is the normal where it's been. About two, this is the normal. That's what, 300 maybe. About two, And then January it shoots up to about 750, then goes back down. And then this is when Stephen Miller told him that you need to go to like, screw going after the criminals. I want you to go to Home Depot. I want you to start, to go after everybody who looks brown. And even then, they're still only getting, the peak was 1,200 people. Now they're probably around 1,100 people. The peak was 1,200 people. Now they're probably around 1,100 people. That's still only 400,000 people a year. That's still only 400,000 people a year. That means he's only going to get 1.6 million people if he's deporting people at this rate. This is why it's unsustainable. Like, you're going after people if he's in this crazy dragnet that you're trying to do in these cities, and you're not doing like an immigration policy. You know what I mean? You're not going after, like, we're looking for removal orders and stuff like that. I mean, you're not going after. It's about how many people can I just round up in the streets, and then instead of like focusing on the legal ways of doing it, you're getting these people, and then you're having to re-release them because what you're doing is illegal. You're getting these people, and then you're having to re-release them
here. But let's say
what you're doing is illegal.
Trump and Miller, and ultimately they are like hoping to use these guys as a way of like inhibiting the vote, all right? And we saw. We've seen pictures of like ICE agents pulling files out of places at times, sort of like being deputized, re-deputized to do other functions. Like, does anybody have a sense of like, if this keeps up, I'm 3 weeks away from just walking off the job, or how much conflict, how much do people have a sense of like there's a breaking point? Like this is a bridge that we wouldn't cross, or I wouldn't cross. Have you heard anybody articulate anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. They're very sensitive to the public backlash. Like any politician, they want to feel like they're the heroes doing X, Y, and Z, and maybe their audience is not like liberal lefties or anything, but when kind of independent type people start saying like, hey, like this is kind of effed up, man, like why did you do that? They care about that. And so, like any institution, it's a continuum, and there are more hardcore people and more hardcore ones. Certainly the incoming freshman class is more hardcore than the senior ones, because that's who's responding to the recruitment ads. But I would say that if I were to just give you like the average person from all the correspondence I've looked at, I would say that they're starting to say things like, I like President Trump and I voted for him, but this is kind of like a shit show, and we have to do something about this, and this isn't really like, I want to increase enforcement, but this isn't how you do it. He's starting to lose some of my respect. So I would say it's kind of.
So like I just looked it up, right? So on Axios report that I'm trying to do. There we go. So last year they deported 70,000 people. There we go. Or they took 70,000 people into detention. 70,000 people. 74% of them, of the 70,000 immigration that were in detention, had no criminal convictions. Of the 70,000 immigration, if he did 70,000 for 4 years, he's gonna deport 280,000 people. 70,000.
It's a lot of people.
But Joe Biden did 4.1 million people was deported.
That's a lot of people too.
Barack Obama, but Joe Biden did 4.1 million people was deported. Barack Obama. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, there was issues with Barack Obama, with the way he deported. Also, now don't get me wrong. Like, there was issues with Barack Obama, with the way he deported. Also. He removed 3 million people from the U.S., but that was 3 million.
3 million people from the U.S., but that was 3 million.
That was like 375,000 people per year.
That was like
because it was 3 million over 8 years. Like, this is what's crazy. Like, for them to get the numbers they want, it's just not feasible.
Because it was 3 million over 8 years. Like, this is what's crazy.
And all they're doing is like it's just sowing chaos.
It's just not feasible.
But I mean, that's what they want. That's what they want. They don't. It's not about deporting people.
Indian ICE agent thought it would be something like that.
I mean, that's what they want.
Like qualified.
It's not about deporting people.
It seems early in the process for them to be that skeptical, and I don't
totally because they weren't like that. They weren't like that in December.
I mean,
this is yeah.
All right. Well, let's play this clip because I'm curious. It sounds like your sources are more on the enforcement side rather than the prosecutorial side, but I don't know. But listen to this that came out of Minnesota. This exchange apparently that took place in this courtroom between an ICE lawyer and the judge is nuts. Let's listen. We just need to go halfway.
I mean, we've already seen that one.
Officer who consistent with the vibe that I get from
in Minnesota, maybe more. But it's also like, like a legitimate constitutional crisis, and I don't think any judge, particularly the subsidiary courts, wants to deal with that. But it's also like all of these attorneys there's a ton that have quit, like up to a dozen, I think, in Minnesota, maybe more. And this woman's in there saying, like, I'm a compliance officer. I'm trying to tell ICE that you got to follow what the court is saying. And this is where all those ICE agents are shoving all of their quota detainees into the system that is not built to deal with that level of, like, randomness in who they're picking up. What do you hear on that side of things?
What that attorney said is completely consistent with the vibe that I get from particularly more experienced people within ICE and Homeland Security, and I have talked to attorneys within Homeland Security as well. They're also like in cardiac arrest over having to send out all this compliance stuff in anticipation of the comeuppance that's going to happen when the majorities in Congress have changed to the Democrats. So this is certainly at the front of their mind. Exhaustion is a word I would use to describe a lot of what I've seen. I got a call from an ERO officer who had just joined, a new recruit, and it was like at 11 p.m. He's like, man, you got to tell people, like, I'm not getting any sleep. It's a matter of time until something disastrous happens because everybody's running on fumes. And, like, I have so many stories just like that. So when I saw that story about the attorney and I saw the response to it, I thought, oh, that's interesting. People don't realize how much, in part because the press doesn't talk to them, but also because people are afraid to talk to the media. But I was surprised by how little known this fact is, because I hear so much despair from people that are like, we've got all these protests, what difference is it making? Because they don't have that inside look. And I wish they did, and to the extent that I can try to give it to them in the reporting that I'm doing is show them, like, no, like, these guys are, like, completely running out of energy, and to the extent that they even believe in it, I don't see how much longer this can go. Because Trump,
okay, so let me ask you this. So what does that mean when an ICE attorney or somebody within the context of DHS says, like, people don't realize, like, we're stretched so thin, we're going to break? Does anybody have a sense of what happens when they break? Because it can go one of two ways. It can seem to me like, okay, we have exhausted our ability to send lawyers into federal courts and to keep up with what the federal courts are demanding, as much as they have backed off and tried to give us latitude. Like, there's only so much latitude they can give. Does ICE at that point say, okay, we're done pretending? We're not going to follow any of these, we're not even going to show up for the court cases anymore because we're done with that. We don't have the ability to pretend like we're going to comply. And so now we're shifting our energy to just not expending any energy on pretending we're complying.
So here's what I've seen already. They'll get the reports where they have to tell Washington that we're, meeting X, Y, and Z priority or whatever that they want. And they're getting to the point where they're just like, F it, I'm going to write whatever. Here you go. We did it, boss. And they just don't do it. So to give you one example, I saw a chat where there were experienced Border Patrol agents talking about meeting quotas, and they had come up with a system where, since this is a task force, you'll see it's like ICE, Customs and Border Protection, maybe Federal Protective Services, all these different DHS sub-agencies, Homeland Security Investigations. It's really quite an army they've built up, but they will all record one arrest for each of the constituent parts of the task force. And in so doing, they're inflating the numbers by like orders of magnitude so that they can go to Washington. And in the chats, they openly know that this is happening, know they're doing it. And the reason they feel okay with it is because it's like, well, they've asked us to do something impossible. So we're just going to say, whatever, here you go, boss, we did it. And their conclusion was these numbers must be wildly inflated when the admin says we've removed or we've done all of this, look at all the stuff we've done. Because this is happening on a systemic basis where they're filing things that they know to be inaccurate because they're just like, well, they're not going to listen to us. I'm not going to care about whether this is true or not.
So everybody, all these different agencies are taking credit for the same arrests.
Totally. Yeah.
And so one arrest could be like 12 different arrests.
That's crazy.
Like they could say, oh, we had 8 arrests, and that's all 8 of those is referring to one individual.
Right.
That's crazy.
And then they add it all up, pretending like it was separate arrests. This is one example, Sam. Like they're doubtless doing this in all kinds of different ways.
I mean, this is, this is so important for, I think, protesters, for people who are resisting, understand, because this is a war of attrition.
Totally.
And just from my experience in watching Survivor on CBS, when one player sees another player getting tired, they can last longer. And people should know. The ICE people are getting tired. And, this is going to be a long haul for 10 months between now and then. But, it is very helpful to see that they're breaking, in many ways, more than the protesters are.
Totally.
Ken Klippenstein, the Substack is called Clip News. And we will put a link to that at majority.fm and our podcast and YouTube descriptions. Thanks so much for your time today.
Allie, you still there? I'm going to tell you that he's probably gone. I'm probably going to end it now. Been going on for like 2.5 hours, so thanks for being here today, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Going on for like 2.5 hours, so thanks for